up, people? It's Josh Drake, future filmmaker 39480 here again. And to continue Superman month, I'm going to go on to the next one, Superman 2. I'm going to review both the original theatrical version and the Richard Donner cut in one. Now, before I get started, I should talk about the production history. Of all the movies that's had some very troubled production mess, this movie was the most controversial and troubling. Richard Donner in 1974, 5, 6, I don't know, 1975 or 1986, I don't know. Richard Donner, he was shooting both Superman 1 and 2, and it was the Superman movie, but he was shooting it as one movie. Then, the movie both went over budget, and then production chaos, the usual production chaos. So they just decided to focus on one part. Then when Superman 1 came out in 1978, the Salkinds, they fired Richard Donner for Superman 2, and they replaced him with Richard Lester. And then it wasn't until 2006 that there was Richard Donner's actual version of the movie that he wanted to make was released to the world. So yeah. Now the plot of this movie is that Superman, he foils the plot of terrorists, and he messes with their nuclear device, and he takes it into outer space. But the shock waves on the bomb frees the Kryptonian villain General Zod and his henchmen Urza and Nan from their very long imprisonment. They come to Earth and they threaten the planet with destruction. At the same time, Superman decides to give up his powers in order to live a normal life as Clark Kent and be with Lois Lane. But in the end, he gets his powers back. Yeah, what I think of the Richard Lester version is, look, I'm gonna do this two ways. The Richard Lester version is not that bad, but some stuff doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But Richard Donner's original version makes perfect sense, and I thought that version is a better movie than Richard Lester's version. I'm sorry, Richard Lester, but some of the continuity in your version doesn't feel right. Now, Christopher Reeve comes back as Superman. He does a good job again as Clark Kent Superman, and his performance was great. Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, she was amazing too. I thought she was awesome. She was very good, and I thought that she was great too. And now Terrence Stamp is General Zod. I'm not saying that he was horrible. He was actually good, but the only problem with the General Zod in this movie, he has no motivation. In The Man of Steel, he has a motivation, what he wants to do. And now Marlon Brando in the Donner cut comes back as Jor-El. Now, Marlon Brando was fired from Superman 2, mainly because the Salkinds, they didn't want to, like, renew his contract. I don't know. Renew his contract. So, and he was replaced by Susanna York. Parks. Again, the score in this movie is not composed by John Williams, but they do keep his theme in there, which I was very happy with. The visual effects here are even more greater, but the Lester version, visual effects is good, but Richard Donner's version is good. And though the scenes that they put back into the Richard Donner version, I appreciate it. I watched the Donner cut on TV once. Yeah, I thought that it made a lot more sense to me. That's why I thought of the Donner cut. The Lester cut, again, it does have some problems, but whatever. So, this movie, I think the action scenes were amazing, but here's the thing that almost makes me mad about this movie. The scene where Superman kills General Zod. People, they accept it in this movie, but in Man of Steel, they get upset about it. Sir, yeah. Again, I do very much enjoy the scenes with Clark Kent and Lois Lane. I do enjoy the scenes with the Superman character. So, yeah. Yeah. I guess that's all I can say. My rating for Superman 2, the 1981 Lester version, it's a red box rental. But the Richard Donner cut is getting an epic-tastic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've heard some people say they like the Richard Lester version more. That's cool, but when you watch both versions of the same exact movie, one version doesn't hold up. I used to like Richard Lester's version, but now it's like, Richard Lester, what in the world did you do? And the two great Superman movies, this movie and the 1978 movie. And this is where the series starts to go downhill with Superman 3 and 4. But those are another review. Later. Bye.